All right, we're back again. So, to get into the point of what this one's about, people keep saying like, "Oh, it's so sad being alone. It's so sad being single." And it's like, do you guys just have like no life? Like, and here's what I mean by that is that at the end of all of this, everyone acts like having a relationship is like their end goal as a young adult, and I'm like, what are we doing? Because here's why: one, both genders were taught to just hate each other by the internet. There's no reason to be that way, but that's just what's going on. So if you continue to look at online media, you're gonna just keep finding that, hey, it's cooked, it's cooked, it's cooked. Like I said, like, can we please stop making the same video? How I said that one time. Um, all I hear is that it's cooked, right? And the problem is, if it's cooked, why do you even care? You know what I mean? It's like, how did we even come to this conclusion? But let alone to go back on why most dudes are just checked out. Every other week, I hear something about some guy as a young adult, so like 17, 18, 19 to 20, 21. I hear constantly, I hear somebody going, yeah, I now have a paranoid disorder because I had a relationship and in my first like actual serious relationship and I ended up leaving or whatever. I keep hearing that people are like, yeah, my girlfriend at the time accused me of rape, and now I have a paranoia disorder because of course you would. Now I'm going to think that anytime I try to have a relationship with somebody, I'm going to get a rape accusation, and it's like that's not something that you want to have happen like at all. That's not a nice thing to do to somebody, and it's like I don't ever hear dudes making that accusation against women, and like, you know what I'm saying. So it's completely one-sided. Dudes aren't doing this to the ladies. Not that anyone would believe it otherwise, but I mean, there's this just this problem, this point of contention being that the men and the women don't agree on much of anything anymore. And two, if you don't agree on much of anything and you guys are making accusations about the opposite sex, it seems like there's no point in even doing this shit because there's just this routine like hatred towards each other, and it's like people act like that as a man you're not allowed to like even have emotions, right? So like expressing the fact that you're even upset about things is considered like weird. Like you're supposed to be just this like almost like automaton being, right? So like that's I'm not going to say that's the sole issue, but it's like there's always drama around the sexes nowadays, and it's because it's manufactured drama. Because COVID happened. I'm no philosopher. By the way, I'm playing Sunset Overdrive just to keep me busy. Um, just COVID ruined this idea. It didn't ruin it, but it created the idea of the red pill, the manosphere, all that shit. If we didn't have COVID, this probably wouldn't happen. It probably wouldn't exist right now. I mean, there would not be this weird divide between the sexes. Like there's always been like the sexes are different than each other, obviously. Um, and we can't all do the same things. Like a man cannot have children, and a woman can't commit or not commit compete in like men's boxing. It's just not possible, right? So like the sexes are different, but the idea that we're getting at here is that there's this artificial divide between who's doing what and all of that shit, and it's just like this doesn't really make sense at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we go to that. We go to the well to explain the point of this idea of the things that they've been saying about the opposite sex being this, that, and the other. They're based in reality, but they're like overblown, right? Like, oh, this, all women are, promiscuous or whatever, and it's like that's not true, right? But it is the statement is based in an idea that technically does exist. Now, before you start getting mad at me, let me explain myself. The idea that technically does exist is yes, women can be promiscuous, just as men can be promiscuous. Just how, but women are more prone to hypergamy. Searching for the best mate for longer than men. Men don't really, I'm not going to say we don't care, but we're less inclined to finding the absolute best possible option because we are fine getting a good option. You know what I mean? Like, I sounded country for a second, but the whole thing is like, if we, as long as we have something that's good and we like what we have, we're like, cool, great. But women are more um, prone to a hypergamous nature, being that they are more inclined socially to take longer to find their life partner, right? So that's where I'm getting at, is where they say that becomes, oh, they say the women are promiscuous, which is not true inherently, but it is a idea that technically does exist. Just like how one could say that, oh, well, men are, you know, I don't know what the women say men are, because I honestly, I don't really pay attention. I don't really care. I don't talk to a whole bunch of women about their opinions of men. I don't really, I'm not really inclined to care, right? Now, is it something that really matters? Possibly, not to me inherently. But to go back, I mean, I feel like a lot of people either decide way too late in their dating career, or not at all. Or no, so let me explain that. They decide too late in their dating career to say, I am celibate. So like they've already had like 10 partners and like, okay, I'm celibate now. And it's like, what are we do? Like, how did you, dude? Like, you've already given it up like 10 times. And it's like, I'm not saying you can't decide to do that, but it's like you've decided so late to do that, and that's the problem. That's what kind of smells fishy to a lot of people, right? Or they decide that either they're going to do that too late, so they decide, like, once they're 30 they're going to be celibate, or they go, I want a whole bunch of sex. And it's like, the problem with that comes in, you're two ends of the spectrum. Like, you should be able to do on a case by case basis. Like, look, I'm a person who's only had one serious relationship, and now I'm waiting till marriage. I don't think that's that crazy. But if you've had 10 serious relationships and then you say, oh, I'm waiting till marriage now, that feels disingenuous. That feels like you're just kind of, you've become angry and like disillusioned with the scenario, and that you want to now just go, oh, well, I've been, just used by men for sex so many times that I'm done doing that. Like, I'm done doing sex before marriage. And I'm not saying you can't make that decision, but I'm saying to a lot of guys that sounds fishy, right? So, but I mean, if I feel like if most people would just kind of get over this stupid boys versus girls shit, a lot of people would be much happier. And the reason why I keep talking about the dating stuff is because it's so relevant to this day. I mean, my channel kind of started as like just a discussion platform, but it evolved into this, where I talk about anything, but I do talk about dating quite a bit, and it's because dating is a very hot topic as a whole. Now, all my most popular videos were about dating, to be honest with you, either dating or young adult shit. So like general college trades, um, talking about my life, talking about the malaise of the modern day. All that stuff is what's gotten me the most views. I think my highest viewed video has only like 300 views, which to me that's a lot. I'm still baffled that I even got that many views on a single video. But to go back into what we were really here for to be talking about on this one, there's just this lack of attempting to get along with and understand the opposite gender. And that's really what this boils down to as like a problem, because you sit there and you have, for example, for my life, just being a guy having female friends, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but women make it hard because I'm just a dude who's, if I'm into you, I'm just going to say it, right? I might have a small period where I'm considering, I'm getting to know you, so I'm like, okay, well, maybe I could see myself. But if I don't see myself doing it, I'm not gonna, that's kind of set in stone after a point. It's just like, yeah, that's not happening, right? So the problem after that becomes, where's the button for that? Hold on. Following that, the problem really becomes if I'm not attempting to understand the opposite gender, then it's just not, I'm not going to get along with them. And if I'm not going to get along with them, I'm not going to have, romantic relationships. And that's where the issue comes in. And that's where it also becomes, is this a me thing or is this a women thing? Because there are definitely times where I'm like, is this me just being a weird person, or is this a person, is this people being weird? You know what I mean? Because like I'm not going to say I'm not a weird person. I think most people have the capacity to be weird or to act in a manner that is considered atypical. But the whole problem really goes down to is you can't really know. You kind of have to have open dialogue with people. But then it goes even further is that people for some reason don't want to have open dialogue when it benefits the person who's attempting to have open dialogue. So for example, I literally said to a female friend one time, I said, well, what should I be doing if I want to, attract a nice girl, that like a girl I'm actually looking for? And she said, I do. She literally said this. I'm not even joking with you. She said, I don't want to give you advice. I don't have to. And mind you, we were friends at the time. Like, what? What are you? What are we doing, dude? Like, I honestly think I'm not gonna say I'm close-minded because close-minded is a dirty word. If we're gonna be honest with each other, close-minded is a dirty word. Close-minded is a thing that people call each other when they don't like each other, and they want the other person to adopt their worldview. Because, like I said, all people, for some reason in Gen Z, want everyone to think the same, and I think that's very boring, right? Like I said, I come from things from a more traditional and Christian perspective, but like the problem is that people want everyone to be the same, and it's like that's just not who I am. You're literally asking me to be someone I'm not, and that's where another problem comes in is that people ask each other when you ask for advice. Oh, what should I do to date in a healthy manner? Like what type of things should I be doing when I meet a girl to communicate like my worldview, but at the same time to communicate that I'm open, right? And then like they just tell you what they want you to do in their worldview, and it's like, well, your worldview does not comply with my worldview. Like if you're a person who's very left leaning, you should not. You should. I feel like we should give advice from the a point of view of a blank slate, not oh here's what I would do. No, let's say, well, what do you think you should do, right? And then we should continue from there. And that's another problem is that when you talk about dating advice, you're getting most people are getting their dating advice from like YouTube and shit, dude. Like they're not even like on the ball like that. They don't even know what's happening. They know what they've heard. They don't know what's happening in your life specifically or what's happening in so and so's life or your friend's life. So like if you ask like, hey, what should I be doing? They're not gonna. You're gonna get like 25 different answers. And at the end of the day, I go, here's what I think is that if you're looking for advice on dating, just be like, well, what do I think I should do? And then consider that and go, well, how does that affect these other factors? Because here's the other problem among Gen Z is that most people don't have to think. Like, I don't know how to explain it any better than that. And I'm sorry if the video feels awkward because I'm not looking at the camera. But most people in Gen Z are just kind of like, well, I don't really have to think because anything I want to hear about, I can just have it told to me, right? I can just go, well, here, what should I do here? And then you can just like research for hours till the cows come home. But your thing you're doing, the thing you're researching and trying to implement may not work for your life. Like it just might not. And that's the thing people don't understand is like if the person giving you advice is coming from a worldview or point of view that is completely alien to yours, you can't take that advice. It's just not going to work for you. Like if you're a left-leaning person, you shouldn't be giving advice around dating to right-leaning people because like I said, if both parties are right-leaning, the guy and the girl, the guy who's looking to date right-leaning women, for example, it's just not going to work because the advice you're giving, like, be like, oh, well, appeal to these things. And it's like, well, if the person that I'm trying to appeal to doesn't appeal to those things, it doesn't work. And this is why I think dating advice is like mostly stupid, is because every single piece of it is like it's not personal, right? It's all just, oh, here's what you should do. Here's what we think you should do. Where it's like on a dating is a case by case basis. It's different for every person, right? It's a completely different ball game for everyone involved in it. Like what I'm going through and what so and so is going, what Jimmy John is going through, little Ronnie over there, what he's going through is all going to be different. And then what Jessica's going through is going to be a completely different world from what I'm going through because she's a girl. You know what I'm saying? And then for example, if my dad was dating, what he's got to go through is going to be completely different because he's 50 years old and I'm 21. See what I'm saying? So like for example, in that scenario, the dating for him is going to be completely different because it should remain mostly unchanged from what it was when he was not when he was his age, but for what most older people are doing, like people who are in their 30s and 40s, whatever. Which I will be honest with you, if you're dating in your 30s, that's kind of not 30s, 40s. That's kind of a bad sign because you should probably be hooked up already by the time you're like 40, dude. But the whole thing is going to be different for every single person, and that's why the oh, here, just do this is like stupid advice because it just doesn't work like that, dude. Like that's what people don't get, and it's like you also meet people who just don't want to help you at all, and I'm like, how is this a thing? Like how are we in the position where they're like, oh, you need help, and they're friendly with you? It's like, yeah, I'm not going to help you at all, and it's like, how are we here? Like if my one friend was like, dude, I have literally no idea what to do, and I'd be like, okay, I would give him advice, be like, okay, well, what do you think you should be doing? What do you think that this girl would want to hear? And what do you think what are you aiming for? Are you aiming for, marriage? Are you aiming for just getting to know the girl? Are you aiming for, what I'm saying? Like there's so many angles. And like people will just go be like, "Oh, I'm going to talk to Grok." And I'm like, "That might be the worst option you have, dude." Like it's kind of crazy to me that that's like a real thing people do still, is they just talk to the AI, be like, "AI, what do I do?" And it's like, how are we how are we in this dire of a position where we're literally just like, "AI, help me. AI, help me." It's like, what? I don't know. And I'm not saying like that to like discourage anybody, but it's like you really can't like, do you really have, that's honestly true. A lot of people don't have a lot of people to talk to. Because like I said, getting a friend to just do anything with me is like pulling teeth, dude. I mean, it's like it never happened. Like people don't hang out anymore. I've realized I'm really out of frame. People don't hang out anymore, and it's like very irritating because like how do you expect a date when you barely have friends? I mean, like like if you don't even, if that's the other problem. I know I'm like rambling a lot in this video. This is just for entertainment purposes at this point, but if you're in a position where you can't even socialize, how do you think you're going to how do you think you're gonna friggin' like, if you can't socialize, how are you gonna date? Because dating is socialization, but like to a romantic degree and not just a social one. Do you see what I'm saying? So like the whole pie is just out of whack, bro. Like I don't know how to explain it any better than that. Like it's literally just, you think like everyone thinks they know what to do, but few people actually know what they should be doing regarding um the dating stuff, because like it changes every day, and it's like people have been complaining for so long, like what to do, how to, because I literally saw one today, and it was like dating men in 2023. It was from a woman, is extremely difficult. And I was like, well, what are you doing? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, if you're doing stupid stuff, then yes. Like, if you're one of those people who's going to talk about feminism at the first date, it's like, of course you're having problems, dude. Like, what did you think was going to happen? And like at this point, I just feel like talking politics, like early in the relationship, is so blown out. Like if you're just be like, are you conservative? Are you liberal? What are you? And then talk about figure out what you can talk about because like I feel like there's so many there's for the average person there is so many reasons why they can't date so and so. Oh, well, we're different politically. Oh, well, he makes more money or she makes more money or whatever or she's very active and I like to sit around. It's like you guys will find any reason. And I was watching this thing earlier to wrap up, but we have about like 3 minutes on the footage. The dating did not used to be this swipe right, swipe left. It used to be, hey, I live in this small town in Ohio, and my father's a farmer, so I can't really move away because all the money's here, especially if you're a woman. And it was well, there's about 7 guys that are my age in the village, right? This is from the woman's perspective because the person who gave the example was a woman. So she said, there's about 7 guys you can marry. And they go, okay, well, there's Jedediah, there's St. John, there's Deacon, and I don't know, James. James and Damon. And say there's all those guys that go, well, Jedediah doesn't shower. This is like olden times. And Deacon, he's a nice guy, but he doesn't have many teeth left. So then you do that, and it's like, well, I guess I got to get with Damon because there's he's like the best option, I guess. So nowadays they go, well, there's literally 7,000 options instead of seven. So the problem really becomes there's too many options. Like people say, there's having too many options is also an option, and that's also bad because, like I said, there's if there's too many options, it takes too long to choose because you're like, oh well, I gotta find the best option, and it's like, well then this doesn't. It's not that it doesn't work, but it's like it's too much. It's too much to decide on, right? So if you go through all of that and then you really sit down and think about, well, why is dating bad? Let's wrap up here. I gotta pause the game. Too many options. Um, Men and women are having combative nature. Everyone's busy. No one wants to hang out. There's zero socialization. And dating is not meant to be swipe right, swipe left. You're supposed to actually go out and meet people. Also, the rape accusations are making a lot of dudes just kind of check out. Because, like I said, I can live my whole life and not even attempt to have sex with a woman. But if I dated her, she can claim I raped her. That's kind of bad.